Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with the ship with me. These are all orders that came through over the last couple days. A couple really cool pieces, a really big bundle, some really good things to talk about. I hope that everybody is continuing to see their sales start to tick up a little bit as we came out of that summer slowdown, and we're now really hitting the ground running with back to school. So make sure you got all your fall stuff in queue to be listed if it's not there already. Now is the time. But before we get started here, guys, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia, that is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and the business of reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. Without further ado, guys, it's late in the afternoon. I gotta get these things packed up into the post office. So why don't you guys grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipment. So the first piece we have here is this amazing piece. This is one that my mom found. This is from a brand called Completo Lino by Arturio. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It looks like it's a Dutch-based brand. This is 100% linen. It's this gorgeous eggplant purple. And the thing about this is, just had a little bit of a bar mishap. So it's this beautiful eggplant purple, and it's this kind of log and look silhouette. And the thing about this is it gets more interesting the more you look at it. Not only does it have a really unique kind of artsy vibe to it, but it's actually asymmetrical. You can kind of see it at the point. It's also asymmetrical on the back. This is the kind of stuff, I don't even care what the brand is. It doesn't even need to have a label in it. I will pick this kind of stuff up anytime. This goes with, log and look, artsy, art to wear. It's just really high quality, never, ever, ever out of style kind of stuff. And unique, like this is such a unique piece. Let me know if you're familiar with this brand. I've never seen it before, but very, very cool. And I will tell you that this linen feels a dream. Now, I don't know if this is something that my mom had bought for herself or if she had bought it at the bins for me to sell, because I could 100% see her wearing this. But either way, this did not last long. And I am in no way surprised at that. So this one I had listed for just under 1 week. I think it was 6 days. And I had it listed at $44 and I got an offer for $37.40. Which of course I accepted, and with a roughly $1 or $2 cost, this brings me to a profit of $30.03, and this was a sale over on eBay. So I hope she loves it. What a totally unique, gorgeous piece. I'm gonna guess that that was also vintage from the 90s. Next up, we've got this pretty dress. Now this is from Ivy City Co. Make sure you commit this label to memory there. This is a brand out of Utah, and they make these kind of cottagecore style dresses, the smocked bust, the kind of blouson sleeves, midi length. And the thing that is unique about them, now obviously they're super cute and they have a bit of a cult following. One of the things that they do is they do make modest compliant dresses. And I'm assuming that they're going by the modesty standards of the LDS Church, just given the fact that they are in Utah. But when you do have something that can fall into the modest compliant category, I would make sure that you list it, even if it's obviously there are companies that make modest clothing and that's what they do. And at least for the LDS Church, it's like a higher neckline, shoulders covered and knees covered. Obviously different faiths have different kind of levels of it, but if you have something that's like short sleeve, high neck and covers the knees, I would label it as modest. Because if you are somebody who does dress modestly and you're searching for modest clothing, for the most part, you type that in, a lot of it's going to be, modest specific brands that, are making things specifically to be compliant. But the fact of the matter is there's millions and millions and millions of pieces out there that also, work for them. So it's just a little bit of a shortcut. If somebody is very serious about dressing modestly, it's a little bit of a shortcut to get in front of their eyeballs when you have something that works for them. But either way, Ivy City Co. is definitely a great brand, and their stuff retails around 100 to I think 150, but they resell pretty well from like 35 minimum up to like $80 depending on what you've got. And if you are somebody that dresses modestly and you have a little bit more detail on that, drop that down in the comments to educate us all. That would be super helpful for all of us resellers, and also hopefully people who are looking for it. We want to make sure that when we're saying that something is, modest, that it actually does the trick. So anyway, I had this listed at $70 and I had it listed for about a month and a half and I had a lot of interest in it and I got an offer for $50, which I did accept with a $2 cost at the bins. This brought me to a profit of $38 even, and this was a sale over on Poshmark. I hope she loves it. This is such a cute little dress, little mustard yellow, perfect like transitional into fall kind of style. So next up is this fabulous set. This is something that my mom found, and this is vintage Natori. It's satin, not silk, but satin, and it's a little peignoir set. So you have the robe and like a midi length nightgown in this kind of snake jaguar print. I can't quite tell. It's some kind of animal print, but it is 2 pieces. I'll tell you guys, robes in general are like fabulous sellers for me. Okay, and when you can find a matching set in the thrift or in the bins, I mean, it's actually pretty rare. You know, when you have something like this, a lot of times like the nightgown will be worn more than the robe or vice versa. So one will be noticeably more worn than the other, or they will donate the nightgown and not the robe because they still like the robe. Whatever the case may be, it's just very unusual to find a full set in the thrift or in the bins. I do think my mom paid up for this a little bit at the thrift. We are gonna tie these up because I never know what else to do with the ties when I am shipping robes. But yeah, when you see something like this is an absolute no-brainer to pick up. Comfortably pay up for something like this, especially, you know, if you find a set, especially from a brand like Natori that's pretty nice. I mean, like, this isn't silk satin, and if it was silk satin, this would go for considerably more. But even a polyester satin for a full set, this is something to comfortably pay up for, even pay for the pieces separately if you need to. But with that being said, I had this listed at $56 for just 1 week. I got an offer for $45, which I did accept. With, I believe she paid about $5 for this. It might have been like $3.99 and it might have been a little bit higher. But assuming it was a $5 cost, this brought me to a profit of $31.84. And this was a sale over on eBay. So I hope she loves it. I mean, it is so 90s elegance, and that kind of vibe is very highly sought after right now. Next up, we've got a pair of Carhartt pants. This is another thing that my mom found. Now, the funny thing about these, and Carhartt is like, if you can get it at the right price, always worth the pickup because these things generally have a ton of life left in them. This was an unusually small and short pair. I don't think it was vintage. If it was vintage, it would sell for a considerably higher dollar amount. But Carhartt in general, just pick it up. It's a $15, $20 minimum sale. So if you're getting it at the right price, it should be absolutely pick it up. And if you find it in the bins, if you can get your hands on it in the bins, I never can because it's something that the bins bros always grab because it's so in style right now. But if you can get it in the bins, absolutely, you should be picking this stuff up. But like, especially the Carhartt jackets, I mean, those jackets, even with damage, like considerable damage, they will sell for like 40, 50 bucks. Like Carhartt stuff is red hot right now. Workwear in general, still red hot. But I had this guy listed at $28 for just 1 week. And I got an offer for $21. This is over on Depop. So that always comes into play when I'm deciding whether or not to take an offer. But I did accept a $21 offer over on Depop with a roughly $1 cost at my mom's bins back east. This brought me to a profit of $17.53. Always pick up that Carhartt stuff. If you can get your hands on it, you should absolutely always be picking up Carhartt. Next up is this gorgeous little For Love and Lemon skirt. And I'll tell you, as soon as I listed this, the amount of interest I had in it was very, very high. So this is brand new with tags. Super cute, all cottons, beautiful embroidery. But again, it's brand new with tags. It's still got the like, don't return without this tag on it. For Love and Lemons, of course. A Bolo brand for sure, something that now a lot of like thrift stores have kind of caught up to it and are jacking up the prices a little bit. So you've got to make sure that you're running comps. And they are selling for slightly less than they were last year around the same time. That could have a lot to do with like economic factors, but they're still selling for a very healthy amount. I want to say that the skirt was probably $200, $250 new, especially with brands like For Love and Lemons, Love Shack Fancy. You've got Rush right around the corner right now. When I say Rush, I mean like Sorority Rush. Specifically like the Southern sorority rushes. I, of course, was in a Northern sorority. It was a very different experience to what people are experiencing at like Bama. Of course, there was no social media in my days, and I thank the universe for that every single day of my life. In fact, the Facebook.com came online when I was in college. I was able to be one of the first people on because I had an EDU address. More innocent days, guys, I swear. But either way, I had this listed for about 3 weeks. Again, tons of interest in it. And I had it listed for $119. And I got an offer of $90 over on Depop. Again, that always comes into play. And I'll tell you, this was probably like my 30th or 40th offer that I got on this over on Depop. And I got offers anywhere from like $60 to like $110, right? But you know, as it goes on Depop, a lot of them didn't pop through, and this one finally did. So I got that offer for $90 with a $2 cost at the bins. This brought me to a profit of $84.37. So very happy to be moving this on. It is gorgeous. So I hope she loves it. I hope she feels fabulous in it because it is such a special little piece, you know? All right, next up, another robe. Now this is another one that my mom found. This is a silk blend robe. The brand on this is Lile, L-I-L-E, which I think is a brand maybe out of China. It is silk, and I believe it's rayon. This beautiful like graphic pattern. Now here's the thing about robes. And I mean, I say this all the time. Don't sleep on the sleepwear section. And that means pajamas, nightgowns, robes, and sheets. More on that to come, spoilers. I've got a whole video on that coming out, so keep your eyes out. But these are the kind of things that will sell kind of no matter what. I have sold, if you find them from a good brand, or they're like a really nice fabric, like this is, you know, obviously like a silk blend, or a very cool pattern, robes will sell no matter what. Now, I'm not saying go and pay $9.99 if you find a cool print robe without a belt, but I would also not hesitate to pick up an interesting robe without a belt at the bins because I've sold many of them. Now, are they gonna sell for, you know, $50, $60 or even $30, $40? No, but like every time I've picked up a really funky robe without a belt, it's sold in like 2 days. I don't know what it is, but robes in general just have a little bit of like magic dust on them. They move so fast for me. Now this one I had listed for just 2 days. And I had it listed at $34 and I got an offer for $25, which I did accept. Again, my mom found this, so probably about $1 from her bins. This brought me to a profit of $22.65, and this was a sale over on Depop. So, like I said, guys, pay attention in the sleepwear section. Blanket statement, pay attention over there. Okay, next up here, we've got this super cool piece. This is vintage soft surroundings, and this is something that my mom found a while ago, and I've gotten a lot of interest in it, but no bites. And, you know, it's an unusual color combo. I know it's not for everybody. This is certainly not in the minimalist world. I just thought this was so cool. This is so artsy and funky and so unique. It's got a really cool silhouette. It's got that single button, and this button is like, I think this button is like marble. It's really like an interesting texture, but I just thought that this was so cool. I have had this one for a while, but it's like one of those things that's never been on the chopping block because I know it's just something that was like waiting for the right person, you know? If this was a more like basic piece from Soft Surroundings, like a single color blouse or something like that, like I probably would have donated it, but it's so unusual, so interesting. I knew that somebody would eventually snap this up and absolutely love it. Either way, this is heading out to one of you guys, so I hope you love it, but it is just so, so funky. But I had this listed again for about a year, and I had it listed for $34 and I got an offer for $27, which I did accept with a $1 cost at the bins. This brought me to a profit of $20.60, and this is a sale over on Poshmark. I hope you absolutely adore this. It is just so fabulous. I love finding those kind of interesting pieces from Soft Surroundings still. I have slowed up on the brand considerably. It's not something that I would really pay up for unless it's like a really significant piece or a really unusual piece, but something like that is something that I will absolutely pick up in the bins, and depending on what I think I could get for it, maybe pay up for it in the thrift. Get a load of this thing. So this was like a moral imperative that I grab this. This is something that I got from the bins, and this is like a beautiful moray fabric. So it's pink and black. Look at these sleeves. I just like, let me nerd out about the details here. This is what I mean. So this is, first of all, double layer, moray on both sides. The bottom, also double layer, fully lined here. Also, hello, giant bling buttons. If you flip to the back, look at this pleating. So the top, first of all, these are matched pleats. inverted pleats, like serious size pleats, and it matches on the bottom here. This, I think, was like custom made for somebody. And you can kind of see this little piece. I pressed this out because I didn't want to like send it to them creased. This actually gets tucked up into this little loop to become like a flourish on the shoulder. So like I said, I'm pretty sure that this was custom made for somebody. And because there's no tags, I don't know what the fabric content is, but I think it might be silk. I certainly couldn't like bank on that or anything, but this was just an absolutely, you know, it's weird and well made, right? It's an unusual piece and well made. And I wasn't sure where this would go. Like this is peak church clothes, if you know what I'm talking about, right? Like this is that fabulous woman that wears like net gloves to church under this. You know what I'm saying? But this could also easily be going into like a theatrical or like a film costume shop, because something like this, you know, if you're looking for something like this, really you can't buy it. You know, you can't go out to a store and purchase something like this. This is something that would probably have to be custom made. And if my suspicion is correct and this is silk, this would be a fortune to have made. So when you see stuff like this, I mean, you should be picking it up. I mean, I think if any of you watch me, you're gonna be enamored enough with the quality of something like this that you would pick it up. Because that's certainly where I was. I was like, I literally, like my conscience cannot allow me to leave this. It's unusual. I don't know who I'm gonna sell it to. I don't know what I'm gonna get for it. It's not something I think I'm gonna be able to get a ton for, just because, you know, I don't know what it's made of, etc. But like, you can't let that go into the waste stream. Like that was, again, probably handmade and done by an absolute master. I'll bet that there was a bottom part to this. I am just so happy to be getting it back out into the world and getting some use. So I had this listed at $44 and I had it for about 6 months. Again, like there was a lot of keywording, but a lot of like guessing in my keywords just because it was such an unusual piece. But I got an offer for $30, which I did accept. The $2 cost at the bins has brought me to a profit of $22 even. And this was a sale over on Poshmark. Like I said, I wasn't sure what I would be able to get for it, but like anything is better than something like this kind of craftsmanship going into the waste stream. That would have been like heartbreaking. Even if that jacket was in terrible condition, I probably would have bought that for those buttons alone. I can't imagine that those buttons are cheap. I've never seen anything like them. And finally, we've got this amazing 6-piece bundle. So the first piece we have here is this adorable tie from Liberty of London. I know I've talked about Liberty of London quite frequently recently. Fabulous old school print house from London. They make the most beautiful textiles. I know a lot of you have talked about it in the comments, but just in case you are unfamiliar, that is the logo you're looking for. If you see it, now they did a collab with Target a few years back. I would probably not pick up any of those pieces. I've had a few that have not sold very well. But if you're seeing just regular Liberty, I would pick it up because there are collectors out there and there are people who really, really love it. I've yet to figure out a better way to wrap ties other than just kind of like rolling them up and making a little package. But I do like to keep them separate from everything else in the package, just so they don't like come unraveled and get tangled up in anything. Next piece she grabbed is this gorgeous J. Jill eyelet top. I mean, could it be more summery? I love J. Jill. This is something that my mom found. And I mean, I'm always going to say yes to an eyelet top. You know, white cotton eyelet is such a perennial classic. And this is the kind of thing that will be in style forever and will probably last a very long time because it's J. Jill and her stuff is made gorgeously. Next piece we have here is this pair of Adriano Goldschmied jeans. These are men's jeans. This is called the Tellus jean. Now, AG jeans a couple years ago were like $100 bills if you found them. They have slowed down considerably. I mean, they're still great jeans. They're still very in demand. They're still $260, I think, $230, $260. But if you're getting them at the right price and they're a more modern cut, you'll still get like a minimum $30 for them. So for sure, keep your eyes out for them, but do mind the cut that you're picking up. Like I see a lot of skinny AG jeans in the bins these days, and I leave them all behind because if people are looking for skinny jeans these days, they're looking for skinny low-rise jeans, which is like, I don't even want to comment on that because we can't be back there. But a lot of the ones that I see are skinny high-rise jeans, and that's really not in high demand right now. Next up, she got this super cute shirt. This is from Frederick Martin, another one that my mom found. I think most of these things are things that my mom found. This is a really nice quality men's shirt, just kind of like a very casual, like a gray chambray shirt. And it's got this little like embroidered bulldog right on the chest pocket. I don't know if that's supposed to be like the University of Georgia's bulldog or Yale's bulldog. I don't think either of them are this color. So I think that this might be just something from the brand. But either way, it's a lovely shirt, really nicely made. Next up here, this is another thing. I think actually all of these things are things that my mom found. So this is a pair of Athleta. They're called the Cabo linen pants. These are 100% linen, like a textured linen. And they are wide leg and a petite length. So if you are petite, these will be like a nice full length pant. If you are a regular height, these can be like an ankle length pant, which I'm all here for. I am an ankle length pant queen. My ankles are almost never covered, and it was the same in Utah. Even in the dead of winter, my ankles were usually like out on display. I don't know why. And finally, this little lightweight jacket from Eileen Fisher. This is a hemp cotton blend, and it's got the most beautiful like hand feel to it. The weight of this is kind of like a heavier canvas, but the hand is brushed, so it feels, I mean, like, it's so unusual. Like, I have not really felt fabric like this, but it feels like brushed linen, and I don't know how else to describe that. It's just so lovely. A very minimalist little silhouette. Again, something that will never, ever be out of style, and I'm sure it was like $400 new. Eileen Fisher is just so expensive. Absolutely gorgeous. Just a perfect little bundle here. So pretty much all of these things I had listed for like under 1 week. So the total cost of all 5 items was $182, and she made an offer of $134. And with eBay, she basically purchased all of these things separately, and then I went and I combined all of the shipments together to get just one label to end up saving her a good amount of money on shipping. But I hope she loves the whole set. Again, another great little bundle. But that is it, guys. That is the shipment for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my work done. I always appreciate you taking a little bit of your precious time out to kind of nerd out about these things with me. It is honestly just so nice to have somebody to yak with while I do my work. But I gotta get these things loaded up and off to the post office. So guys, if you had fun, please consider leaving a like or comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, I hope you have the most beautiful weekend. Happy hunting, and I will see you all in the next one.